As you've probably heard, and as you probably know, citing is really important when you're writing a paper. It's not only the way that you indicate that you have done strong research and you understand the readings that you've done, it's also the way that you give credit to or pay homage to the writer or author or authors that have provided you with this information. It's really important that you cite anytime you paraphrase or quote or really give information that you received only because you read something. Something that is common knowledge, like who the president is, or something that the general public would know, or that your audience would know without having to go look it up or figure out where it came from, that's oftentimes something you don't have to cite. If you have a question, though, it's probably better to cite it than to not cite it and leave it off. So you want to think about citing your material anytime you're providing information that you got from something that you read. There are a bunch of different citation styles, and I'm sure you've heard of a lot of them. There's APA, there's MLA, there's Chicago. Each of these citation styles use a different formatting, so it's really important that you understand what your professor wants of you. As a result of that, this video is going to be a little bit general when it comes to citations, because most of the information that you need is something that you have to look up. It would take a really long time for me to go through all the different possibilities, options, and ways of things that you need to put together in order to cite for each style. So in general, APA uses a author and date style in a parenthetical citation or a parentheses in your text, followed by a works cited page. MLA does something similar. They use a author and page number style in a parenthetical citation in text, accompanied by a works cited page at the end of the paper. Chicago style, which is the most common citation style for this field, uses something slightly different. They use either endnotes or footnotes. This is one of those little superscript numbers that you often see when you're reading. And there are two ways that you can do this. The first is that you insert that superscript number and put the citation information at the bottom of each page. Those would be called footnotes. Endnotes, on the other hand, save all this information until the end of the paper, and you have all of those listed there. Regardless of if you choose endnotes or footnotes, you should still have a bibliography or a page of citations that list all the sources that you need. So you'll want to ask your individual instructor if they have a preference when it comes to footnotes or endnotes, because you'll want to make sure that you're doing exactly what they're looking for. So that's the main piece of information that you need to know when you're citing any information that you got from a source. Make sure you have that endnote or that footnote. Now, what kind of information actually goes in that endnote? So this should include all the relevant. The first note, endnote or footnote that you use for each source should include all the relevant information about this source. This includes things like the author's full name, the title of the source, and the publication information. If you cite that same source again, the note would then only need to include the surname of the author, a shortened form of the title if it's more than 4 words, and a page number. If you cite the same source and page numbers from a single source 2 or more times consecutively, then you can just use the word IBID, I-B-I-D, period. This is an abbreviated form of a Latin word that basically means in the same place or see the same source above. But if you use a different source in between, you cannot use IBID. You'll need to redo that information again. So that is just some information that you would need to know when it comes to citing in text for Chicago style. Chicago also will include an alphabetical list of sources at the end of the essay as a bibliography. So this is usually titled bibliography and placed at the end of the work. And it should include every source that you used, that you cited in text. They all need to be listed here, again, alphabetically. And I'll give you, at the end of this video, an example of what that looks like and some resources that you can refer to. The best piece of information that I can give you when it comes to citing is to make sure that you're using as many resources as possible. There are things like RefWorks, which is a really great source. It's kind of like a calculator. In math class, you have a tool that helps you sort of pump the numbers into the machine, get out the answer that you're looking for. RefWorks is a great system that you might use to help assist you when it comes to citing. However, just like a calculator, if you put bad information in, you're going to get bad information out. So it's always a good idea to check your work, just like you would in any kind of math class. And make sure that you're using something like the OWL at Purdue or another citation resource to help you verify that you've done things right. One of the best sources for you when it comes to Chicago style is the Chicago Manual of Style. It's going to have the answer to everything that you're looking for. So when it comes to citing, again, the biggest things to remember, if the information came from something you read, be sure that you're citing it and use some kind of resource to help you check all of your citations, especially those special cases, maybe like a source with no author or an electronic source, that you're getting all the information you need to make sure that your citations are done properly. Again, if you ever have any questions, go see your instructor, make sure that you get it right before submitting your paper, because it could lead to plagiarism, which is something that you don't want to do.